All right.
Ambassador to
Let's talk about our big dogs, okay? Saudi Arabia.
for Foreign Affairs. He joins us from Riyadh. Accusation the kingdom's influence in the recent decision to cut oil production, pushing prices higher, at least in the short term, is siding with Russia. What's your response to that?
Wow, these captions are fire, dude. Look at this.
Saudi Arabia is not siding with Russia. Saudi Arabia is taking the side of trying to ensure the stability of the oil markets, which benefits consumers and producers alike. We have been doing this for decades. We try to make sure that we don't have erratic swings in prices so that we can have logic when it comes to investments, when it comes to lending, and when it comes to price.
That's just called the free market, baby. What do you mean? Why would the Saudi Arabian government give a shit when our own domestic oil extractors and producers quite literally will say, no, we're beholden to our to the profit margin. We are beholden to our shareholders and their interest only. Not gonna lie, Saudi Arabia is giving off bad vibes. Sweaty, you are correct, okay? They are not doing big slay. Okay, I gotta stop. I'm gonna get canceled again. They are giving bad vibes, though. It is true. I'm an empath.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia believes in this strongly. The decision to reduce the quotas was taken unanimously by 22 countries, and the markets have responded very positively to this. The price of oil has actually come down since last week, not gone up.
Yeah, and that is the irony, of course. Though Washington says the economic fundamentals didn't justify a cut of that size at this point. And so the only beneficiary in their eyes, they say, is Vladimir Putin. The irony, of course, as I say, is that prices haven't actually moved any higher. As OPEC's largest producer, the kingdom must have considered the fallout when making the decision, which was a decision against the better judgment, reportedly, of other members who pushed back on it. How concerned are you by these threats by President Biden of consequences for the kingdom's actions?
Well, if you allow me, Becky, the other point I would like to make is that Saudi Arabia has supported the UN resolution with regards to the, after the crisis began between Russia and Ukraine. Saudi Arabia opposes the acquisition of territory by force. Saudi Arabia has had open lines of communications with both Ukraine and Russia, and we have been able to use those open lines of communications to work out an agreement on the exchange of prisoners of war. This would not have happened had we been viewed as taking sides between one side and the other. Saudi Arabia provides humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and continues to do so. And
yeah. I mean, it's just business. He's basically stating it. He doesn't give a fuck about what Russia is doing. He don't give a fuck about what Ukraine is doing. He don't give a fuck about what America is doing. It's just business, baby. They're going to make money. Nothing personal, kid.
We're looking for ways to try to bring the two sides to the negotiating table to find a resolution, a negotiated resolution out of this issue. We don't believe that escalation is beneficial to Europe or beneficial to the world, frankly.
President Joe Biden has repeatedly said now that there will be consequences to Saudi for this deal without revealing the details. Now, we do know that many congressmen and women are threatening to freeze arms sales to the kingdom.
One more fun fact about Saudi Arabia. Fun fact number one, Saudi Arabia is currently going on an unjustifiable human rights violation by creating a man-made artificial famine in Yemen. This has displaced millions and also has caused millions of children to go hungry. Fun fact number two, they are able to do so with the United States weapons. Fun fact number two, the United States is responsible for 70% of the weapons that Saudi Arabia currently is using across the board. They're not fun fact. Fun fact number three, these are not fun facts. They're not.
To pull U.S. troops from the kingdom, to limit OPEC's influence on the markets going forward. Does that worry you? What's the risk involved if these actions, these consequences, these alternatives are carried out?
I can't speak to the motivations behind statements by officials. What I can tell you is that the sale of defensive weapons to Saudi Arabia serves the interest of the US and serves the interest of Saudi Arabia and serves the interest of security and stability in the Middle East. The presence of American forces in the Middle East has been here for many, many decades. They are here to protect the stability and security of the Middle East and the stability and security of the United States. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the US have had a very strong relationship for 8 decades. They have been very close partners in fighting extremism and terrorism and maintaining stability and security in
Fun fact number 3, I forgot. Fun fact number 3 was that these are not fun facts. Fun fact number 4, Saudi Arabia, 17 out of the 19 terrorists that did 9/11 were Saudi nationals. Fun fact number 5, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the royal family directly played a role in funding said Saudi nationals. Fun fact number 6, Saudi Arabia once threatened Canada when the Canadian Prime Minister said that they would stop giving weapons or stop abiding by the weapons deal that they had with Saudi Arabia by saying, we will do a 9/11 on you too, when they famously flew a 747 into the, the fucking needle thing that they have in Canada. Or no, the CN Tower, sorry. Here it is. Saudi Arabia appeared to threaten Canada with a 9/11 style attack in a feud over human rights, sticking one's nose where it doesn't belong. As the Arabic saying goes, he who interferes with what doesn't concern him finds what doesn't please him. Fun fact number 7, remember those American weapons that I was talking to you about, how America funds and gives 70% of the weapons that Saudi Arabia uses? Fun fact number 7 is that some of those weapons have ended up in the hands of, drum roll, please. Brrr, none other than Al-Qaeda. That's right. Oh, well, ISIS too, obviously. But none other than Al-Qaeda. The guys who quite literally did 9/11. That's right. These aren't fun facts at all, streamer. I mean, there you go. Let's continue.
Defending the region and have been very close allies in terms of economic and trade and investment. And we hope that this relationship, and look forward to this relationship continuing for the next 8 decades.
The problem is that there are those now, Saudi's critics in Washington, who say that Saudi Arabia is weaponizing oil. US senators from both sides of the aisle are expressing increased frustration with the kingdom. I spoke to one Democratic senator, a member of the Foreign Relations Committee, Chris Murphy, last hour. So have a listen to what he told me.
The Saudis can't separate the economics of oil from the politics of oil. They can't do that because it is the economics of oil, it is the revenue from that oil that is allowing the Russians to perpetuate a campaign that is killing thousands of civilians inside of Ukraine. It is the revenue from that oil that has allowed for the Saudis to perpetuate a campaign inside Yemen that has killed thousands of civilians. So, you know, I understand the Saudis want to say, hey, we make all of our decisions with respect to oil independent of the political consequences, but they know that's not true. They know that there is a linkage between the economics of oil and the politics of oil. And they also know that the United States has been an ally for decades with the Saudis because we wanted to make sure that we had the ability to get oil from the Middle East to the United States to power our economy. So we're a security partner with the Saudis in large part because we want to make sure that we protect the oil that is important to our economy. So you just can't separate the economics of oil from the politics of oil. You can't.
And this is a congressman, by the way, who has said that the US should now cut ties with Saudi Arabia. Your response, sir?
With all due respect, I believe the assumptions upon which the statements were made are not correct. Saudi Arabia does not politicize oil. We don't see oil as a weapon. We see oil as a commodity.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, come on. I like, of course you do. What? Why wouldn't you? You got nothing else, motherfucker. This is all you got. What do you mean we don't see it as a weapon? I mean, yeah, we already know. Make your haters your biggest customers, right?
Our objective is to bring stability to the oil markets, and our record is very clear on this. Not over the past few weeks, but over the.
A bit insensitive of you, no? Dude, what is this? What? To what? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? What are you saying? That's so weird when motherfuckers say this. What? Why are you acting like using natural resources for geopolitical gain is unique? I never said that, man. I literally never said that. As a matter of fact, I said exactly what you are implying, which is, of course they do that. That's all they got. That's what everybody does. The only thing that's unique about Saudi Arabia is that they have been able to consolidate all of that extraction of natural resources because they are a fucking theocratic monarchy. Countries, newsflash, that have nationalized their extraction industries or have a straight up fucking monarchy are better positioned to make these kinds of moves, unlike the United States of America that quite literally has to suck every fucking oil executive cocks before they make any sort of move in the market.
The past decades, we have always sought to ensure that there are adequate supplies.
I don't know how you can put up with hundreds of people putting arguments in your mouth that you aren't making. Hats off to you. I mean, I'm fucking mentally ill, so of course. That's why.
Supplies of crude oil to the markets. We have always worked to maintain stability and reduce the erratics in the price of oil so that both consumers and producers benefit. This has been our policy. Now, if anyone wants to speculate and read something else into it that is not correct, I can't really do much about it. But what I can tell you is we have a track record. The track record has been around for decades, and our track record has been clear. We have always worked assiduously to maintain stability in the oil markets, and we have always worked to ensure that there are adequate supplies in the oil markets. Drastic increase in the price of oil or drastic drops in the price of oil are very damaging to the global economy and damaging to consumers everywhere, whether it's in the United States or whether it's in Saudi Arabia.
What will the kingdom's response be should some of the actions that these congressmen and women, those on the Hill are looking to effect, there is clearly a school of thought that says, this relationship is broken, and that is from Washington's perspective. Is that your perspective at this point? And should some of these threats come good on breaking the relationship, what would the kingdom's response be?
I don't believe this relationship is broken. Very far from it. This relationship is very robust. We have almost 80,000 Americans living and working in Saudi Arabia. We have a very strong trade and investment relationship. We work very closely with regard.
Bro, we will never move away from our reliance on fossil fuels. Oh my fucking Lord, dude. We will just never. I mean, look at this situation. You got homies being like, America, I know you support us in our genocide in Yemen, okay? But maybe you should do a little bit more. And it doesn't matter, actually. You can't say anything because we got the oil, bitch. Like, I don't know. Nothing we can do about it. I mean, we won't move away from reliance if everyone keeps begging Saudis to extract more, keep it in the ground, cut it to zero today. I mean, Fango, I know you're an EV evangelist, right? As am I. But goddamn, brother, like, in the interim period, at least focus on shifting our over-reliance on fossil fuels by making domestic policies that move away from it. We're not even doing that.
Regards to ensuring our common interests, whether it's to bring peace to Yemen, whether it's to bring peace between Israelis and Arabs, whether it's to stabilize Afghanistan, whether it's to reintegrate Iraq into the Arab fold, whether it's to bring stability to the Horn of Africa, stability and peace in Libya, in the G5 countries of the Sahel, whether it's to fight extremism and terrorism. Those interests are permanent, and those interests are tremendously important to both countries and to the security and stability not only of the region but the world. And so that it is incumbent upon both countries to work together in order to realize the objectives that they both have, which occur to the benefit of both people and both countries. Now, I can't, unfortunately, when you're in the election season, what some people call the funny season, a lot of things are said and a lot of things are done that may not make sense at another period of time. And I hope that this is what we're dealing with here. However, when it comes to the relationship between the two countries, it's fundamental, it's very strong, and it's fundamental and strong because the interests of the two countries require that they work very closely together in order to overcome the many challenges that they face.
I want to get back to this decision and just press you a bit on the timing of this OPEC Plus decision. We've considered the fallout in Washington during this interview. Multiple reports citing officials briefed on discussions say that other OPEC Plus members, not least the UAE and Iraq, were pushing back on the cut. They didn't want to see the size of the cut, nor did they want to see this production cut happen when it did. They questioned the timing of that cut. On hindsight, and given the fallout that the kingdom is seeing reputationally on the Hill in Washington at present, and these questions about the relationship going forward between Saudi Arabia and the US, on reflection, might the Saudis have acted differently?
Well, we have what happens in discussions before decisions are made is something that really I was not privy to because I wasn't during the talks. But what I can tell you is what counts is the bottom line. Every member of OPEC and OPEC Plus countries supported this decision, so that's what we go by. With regard to speculation or statements to the contrary, I don't subscribe to those because I believe that the bottom line is everybody agreed to it, so it was a unanimous decision. So that's one.
They're a cartel. They operate as one. That's the entire fucking underlying reason why they have so much power. This is how it is. It is what it is. This is how it goes. That's how this works, right? White House NSC spokesman confirmed Saudi Arabia coerced OPEC Plus members to support oil production cut. So they lied about that too. But it doesn't matter because they control it. They have all the power. Well, not entirely and single-handedly, but they have an overwhelming amount of power. You got Saudi Arabia. What the fuck is like Libya, Indonesia, and Algeria going to say, or the Ecuador, Gabon, Angola, Equatorial Guinea, Congo, some of which are members that joined later or left and then came back to join. Kind of like what the West does, the UN votes. That's actually a really fucking good analogy. Yes. To be fair, Indonesia is a large country. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're talking about extraction capabilities. Best be putting some respect on Equatorial Guinea's name. I'm sorry, you're right. If anything, they should at the very least try to cut deals with some of the OPEC and OPEC adjacent members and allow them to participate in global trade. I doubt after starving out the Venezuelan population for as long as they have that the Venezuelan government would say no to delivering additional barrels. Ultimately, though, I don't know. The West has been trying to divide and conquer OPEC Plus for decades. Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, this is their bread and butter. So, of course, they have every interest to maintain solidarity as oil-producing nations.
And with regards to looking forward, I think we're looking forward to more stable markets, and we're looking forward to markets that are adequately supplied, and we're looking forward to avoiding erratic behavior in the markets, and this is what Saudi Arabia has been doing.
Yeah. A great fucking job, I'll tell you what.